of Rivers State in that governance is to resume. Governor Siminalayi Fubara having been returned to office by the very man who constitutionally suspended him in the first instance. So here we are. We'll talk about this, and our guest this morning, Liberus Oshoma, lawyer and political affairs analyst, is with me in studio here. As always, thank you very much, Liberus, for coming on. My pleasure. Indeed. And we also have Tony Dania, is a lawyer and social commentator. Good morning to you too, Barrister Dania. Oh, okay. That was what I was trying to find out all that time is, you know, but okay, it is what it is. Okay, so here we are now. Can we really say all's well that ends well, in the sense that the suspension came? We've been hearing now from the president that it would have been irresponsible of him not to have taken that constitutional step. And by the way, he was assuring people that it is constitutionally backed. And so here we are. He was also delighted as it emerged to, you know, call an end to the suspension. Let everybody go back to their office. In fact, as of yesterday, people should have been back in the office, not just the governor, also his deputy, also the Speaker of the House of Assembly, and members of the House of Assembly. So in that sense, can one say all's well that ends well?
First and foremost, for me, while I believe that by virtue of Section 305,
yes,
the governor can declare a state of emergency, where the problem lies for me is the fact that can a declaration of emergency, by virtue of a declaration of emergency, can the president vacate, you know, the democratic structures in that state? That is the big question. And I would hope that the Supreme Court is able to answer this question.
Well, I know that you are speaking properly, you know, as a lawyer. Can the ordinary man take that as suspended?
Yes, suspend the democratic institutions in that state.
Okay.
And then, you know, because considering subsection 4 of that Section 305, that says the governor can even invite a president to declare a state of emergency. So I've always had problem with that, and I believe that that power does not include. But we will still wait. I hope and I pray that the court will not say, since this action has been concluded, it becomes an academic exercise, you know, but because the court is called upon to interpret the clear provisions of Section 305 and how it can be applied. So once that happens, and then we can now begin to say, subsequently, there is a precedent, because like I always say, the law is what the court says it is. Because we've had, this is the fourth declaration we're having in this,
that's right, this
Fourth Republic. The first one was in Plateau State. Democratic institutions were suspended. The next one was in Ekiti. Democratic institutions were suspended. But the third one was in 3 states in the Northeast, Yobe, Adamawa, and Borno. And democratic institutions were not suspended. And so now you have in Rivers State, and then democratic institutions were suspended. So for us to avoid this continuous ping pong and debate, just like before now, the suspension or the impeachment of a governor, the belief before now was that once a governor is impeached, by whatever means, then the court cannot question it. And then so some persons will go to a hotel believing that wherever the maze is, that the house is, is there. Remember, there was a time when even lawyers argued that once the maze is there, the symbol of authority, and that the house can sit anywhere and determine, you know, the tenure.
Which resulted in some individuals carrying the maze to wherever they wanted.
Or Chuba Okadibo took the maze of the National Assembly to his village, in Oyi. And then some people sitting in D. Rovans in Ibadan to impeach Ladoja. And the court in its wisdom said, no. There are clear provisions of section 188, subsection 1 to 9. You cannot invoke subsection 10 without complying with subsection 1 to 9. So in this case also, the court will be doing us a favor by also pointing in the right direction to say this is what should happen. That way, we'll lay all the issues to rest. Until that is done, it will still be a matter of like we say in equity, the chancellor's foot, the mindset of who is the president. You know, so we can't really say, until that is done, I can't really say, oh, all is well. All is well that ends well. You know, because also if you look at the crowd that came out to welcome back the governor, thank God the man did not come.
He didn't show.
He didn't show up because that crowd, this was actually what led to all of the problems. You know, that crowd for me was, even though you can't stop people from being happy, but to some extent, you know, if you look at it from the other point of view, the other angle, it seems provocative. Oh, it's like a warrior coming back from war, victorious. You know, so the man, knowing fully well, is the one seated there. He's the one who's been running around. He's the one who was suspended. He's the one that's been holding meetings. So he would advise himself and feel, look, you know what? Because after the reconciliation, the meeting they had, was it a Thanksgiving or a meeting where he said, look, all what those associations they call themselves that you know, that were formed to support him, that all of them have been disbanded. So he definitely would not want to see, you know, such you know, because he can settle with his godfather, but have the people who were the pawns who were at loggerhead, have they settled? Have they settled? So that's the big question.
Does he really control them in that way?
You know, because not everybody is happy with what has happened in Rivers State. We can't pretend that what happened in Rivers State was democratic. And so a lot of people are still angry that what scenario had played out in other states and that nothing happened. You know, government will simply look the other way. That all of this is happening that because even Wike, ordinarily, some of the things that he was forcing down the throat of the governor, that he would take it from anybody. And about at the end of the day, that the government simply helped him to regain back control that he was losing.
I have heard that, but I wonder what you think in that regard. That wouldn't have been the president's purpose, would it?
In politics, purpose, in politics, especially in Nigerian brand of politics,
yes.
you like they say, it's what I think is do what I say, not what I do. If somebody can come out and tell you, I'm not interested in this office, I am so concerned now about delivering dividend of democracy, and yet, nights and nights, he's holding meetings how to retain that office. We saw Obasanjo say, look, you know, he's not interested in third term, but everybody around him were told to queue up. We've seen Goodluck Jonathan say, I'm not interested in 2015, but he was interested. We've seen Buhari says, look, even though he's aware, he says, I'm not aware. So even if the president comes and says, look, my interest was to maintain peace in this place.
Yes.
And to ensure that, and then, yet, in your interest to maintain peace, a state of emergency is declared, and governors are asked to go and queue up behind their godfather, who is not a governor, by the way, and then to reconcile, and then the godfather is seemingly given the long end of the stick, and here you say, no, my interest is just to ensure that peace. Nobody will believe all of those things, because if this had happened in other states, like maybe let's say assuming an APC state, or we've seen it play out, at the end of the day, the godson and the godfather would ruffle it out, and the court would determine the way forward, and everybody would maintain their lane. But the idea, because also, mind you, I had said it, even if the House of Assembly wanted to impeach Fubara, it's a constitutional process. Let them go ahead. If the House of Assembly has the chief judge on their side, and not the Jankara type, let them go ahead. But this idea of, oh, we had to save the governor, and then surreptitiously, you are saving the governor and indirectly handing him over to his godfather and say, look, behave yourself. You know, so at the end of the day, people are still going to blame you. But mind you, I'm not the president, so I'm not saying from where he's seated.
And I
can only speak from where I'm sitting.
Yes, and all of this, to be factual, is in the realm of conjecture.
Yes.
It might be enlightened conjecture.
Yes.
But conjecture nevertheless.
Yes, certainly the same way the president maybe the president's idea is not to. It's all in the realm of conjecture. So,
yes.
But really, in logic, there is always a premise before a conclusion. And so, our conclusion is not based on a wrong premise. We're drawing a conclusion from a premise that we can point to from available premises and from available, antecedent and behavior of our politicians. And today they say this thing, they do another thing. They are consistently inconsistent in their utterances and action. So when they speak now, people would want to wait. It's like a man who is a chronic bachelor telling you, don't worry. For the past 10 years, he's been telling you, I'll marry next year. I'll marry next year. And then he comes to you and even if introducing a girl, and he goes to maybe register in a marriage class, you will tell your friends, look, forget, I've seen this one before, until, even if I see him at the altar, until
the words are pronounced.
Exactly.
I do. Until I hear that, I do.
I will not believe, because he might still walk away.
Oh dear.
So that's how bad, trust is. When the trust is deficit in a system, it becomes very difficult for people to take your word to a community bank, not to talk of the commercial bank. So that's what our politicians have consistently done to us. So that's why whatever they say or do, we look at them. Like me, I've consistently told people, Fubara and Wike are two sides of the same coin. But typical of Nigerians, we like to support that person who we think is seemingly being oppressed. But they are the two sides. Their behavior is exactly the same thing, two sides of the same coin. Fubara has known Wike for more than, they said he's been working with him right from when he was local government chairman. That was as far back as 1999 or so. And so from that time till now, it's enough for you to understand the nuances, the behavior of a man. He has never pretended to be a Democrat. So when a man calls you and says, come, let me put the crown on your head, and then he placed the crown on your head, and he selected all the chiefs in the palace, and you think that any day you decide to confront him, he will not give you the poison chalice to go and drink. You think you can overshadow him when the House of Assembly members are surrounded. I call them the chiefs now, who can determine your stay. At the end of the day, what you just basically need to do is to play politics. And because he didn't play that politics at the first tenure, looking at the constitution and say, look, even some senior lawyers, unfortunately, were supporting him. That by his pen, he can decide not to recognize the members of the House of Assembly. That was a constitutional breach that was never going to go in his favor. So the moment that happens, he's behaving like his master. And then people started supporting him that you can breach the constitution provided it was Fubara, that section 109 is self-executory. And I consistently ask that question. Even because the law says that the penalty for murder is death. So if you see somebody murdering another person, will you? Is it not jungle justice? Is it not resorting to self-help for you to now immediately say, yes, I will kill you there and then? And that's what you people are encouraging the Rivers State governor to do. But at the end of the day, the Supreme Court came out to say, no, you can't do that. Look at the provisos in subsection 2 of section 109. And then the House crumbled, finally. And the man started running helter-skelter. Where were the lawyers who were advising him on this same program, on this same station? And I just said that if I were him, I would sack my Attorney General immediately for giving me wrong advice. But at the end of the day, he was too far gone in the middle of the sea. And the others also were also too far gone.
Okay.
And so that's why some people who
there's
support
Mr.
us. President
in his, spirit of reconciliation and spirit of having, settled the situation over in Rivers State. I was even a bit worried at one time because you remember that the governor, who has the returning governor now, he had actually said that he wasn't even sure that he wanted this job anymore.
That spirit had left the government.
So
yeah, if you look at the provisions of Section 191, he has a deputy. If the spirit is no longer there, there's a deputy.
okay.
The Constitution makes provision for all of this. If the deputy is not interested, there's a speaker.
There's a speaker.
So all of this, and then after some time, the INEC will conduct election into the office, and So, but for some persons also, I think they would advise him that it would be self-defeatist to just exit. He who fights and run away, live to fight another day. But maybe I think that now parties should look back and retrospect and look at the learning curves for the interest of the people of Rivers State. Because if you decide to fight or you decide not to go back, there are some programs and projects you probably have started that, who knows, the next person will come and then,
in fact,
and then also
Governor Fubara has, he actually, Fubara now has to play the catch-up game.
Yes, because six months is out of office for 6 months.
6 months.
So coming back, he needs to be more careful. He needs to select the kind of advice that he listens to. And then also, go back to his book if he has abandoned the book he used to study his master. Go back and know how to play politics with his. Let me give you an instance. Look at Wike, for example, of everything that Wike said against APC. Today is in APC, is eulogizing them. But I don't think that he likes Bola Tinubu. But for political exigency,
you're going into a controversial area, and thank you very much for doing so. Thank you very much for doing so, because I have heard this kind of speculations.
In fact, there have because he loves the man. It's for political exigency. It is for the moment.
There are commentators who have said that, wait, the Minister Wike, Tinubu, you don't know whether this man loves you or not.
Do you think Tinubu loves him also? Tinubu has said it's in a different party. I'm in a different party. But for the purpose of the job, we're working together. So if tomorrow comes and politics decide to tear them apart, politicians can say one thing in the morning and mean another thing in the evening. So that's why, like I said, you can't take their words to the bank. So Fubara also needs to study and understand this thing. You play the game for the purpose of delivering the dividends of democracy, like they say, to your people. Because at the end of the day, it is your tenure that people are going to judge. How well were you? They say everybody plays the fool. And you don't count your money when you're still sitting at the table. There'll be enough time to count it when the deed is done. If you cannot fight, look at Lagos, for example. You think Governor Sanwo-Olu is a fool, even when people call him all sorts. But the man is the governor. The time will come, his history will be written as the governor who ruled Lagos for a period for 8 years. Even when that video when the president came and allegedly shunned him, and but the man still behaved because he knew who the master was. But today, back, they are cordial. Yes. And he will serve out his tenure.
As our people say, there is nothing that patience won't do.
Exactly. The Hausas will say, Ya kurima gani dunia. At the end of the day, he will commission projects. Those projects will be tied to his name. It was during Governor Sanwo-Olu's time that all of these projects were commissioned. It was during Governor Fubara's time that he did this, he did that, he did this. Do you think if Governor Sanwo-Olu had played the kind of politics that Abode played, he would have seen a second term? So I think these politicians, they should take lessons in leadership. Nigerians can shout on social media, yes, what is happening? You know how you became a governor. Like Tinubu once told Fashola, if we apply the rules, you won't be a governor. Because as at the time you became a governor, there were other 11 aspirants who were ahead of you. But you were chosen. We know how they are chosen. So if you are chosen in that way, you don't come now and pretend to want to fight for me. When you're taking some for yourself and then you tell me, Joe, just look at it. The best way to fight for the people is to understand the master you are working with, and then to a very large extent work, because it's your name that will be written. If you now say, because also we are in a system where our institutions are manned by strong people, these institutions can be bent by these people. If if we're in a system where the institutions, irrespective of what has happened, the institutions would, start tall. And irrespective of whose horse is God, the institution will look the president in the eyes and say, you are wrong. But we're not in such an environment.
That's not how it works.
So you'll be committing class suicide. You go put your neck on the line, and then you would, in no time, you'll be forgotten.
But
and then your people that you're trying to achieve these things for, nobody remembers them.
even if unintendedly, APC has become a beneficiary in the whole River State. What is it now?
Yes, yes. You saw the arrangement, the compromise that happened at they call the local government election.
Look at the local government election. Now it's a PDP
local
state.
Government selection.
Okay, it's election, but if you call it so, I won't argue with you. You have your right, But an election was conducted. I'm just speaking as an ordinary man. You are a commentator. Yeah. You have inside knowledge.
Like I said, on the basis of premise that I have observed.
Yes.
So the selection, because what actually happened also, you saw where the PDP contested, the APC didn't contest.
Yeah.
Where the APC contested, the PDP didn't contest. So it was a compromise. So at the end of the day, APC became beneficial. It's also lays credence.
I think what 20 seats there, yes. And then only three
for PDP. It was a compromise. All of them are in APDP. It's the same thing. APC PDP is the same thing. It also is a pointer to the fact that when people said this House of Assembly members, people had decamped. It also lays credence to the fact that truly all of this had happened. So if the political leaders or the political advisors of Buhari were smart enough, what they should have done would have been use the judicial process to actually establish the fact that these people had decamped and let the judicial pronouncement. And by that time, there won't be crisis. All of this wouldn't have happened. But because they were so much in a hurry, it's okay, yes, you derecognize them. And then senior lawyers were saying, yes, you have the power. And look at where are all the senior lawyers now when he was suspended?
What are the options open to PDP that used to claim Rivers as this one is a banker state? So what options do they have now?
That's why I was telling you, if you look at the antecedent of the PDP governors in the South, if a PDP former governor, former senator in PDP, former commissioner in PDP, eventually rose to become a running mate, presidential running mate in PDP, decamped to APC. And then you look at all of that, and the PDP governors, they went to court, and you have never, their body language is not even that one of those people who are truly ready to fight this constitutional, battle. And then even some PDP members endorsing the president for a second term. And so you now begin to ask yourself, really, do these people, do they strike you like people who are truly ready to go into a political battle with the APC? And so that's why for me, I think the PDP really are not ready on this. So, and Fubara probably understands, and that's why he capitulated to say, look, let me quickly retrace my step and find a way to resolve my problem, because some of the people you are relying on, might eventually lead you to war and then just all backtrack.
So when I first of all asked the question, is it all's well that now ends well? And you had said, well, not so fast and not so simplistic.
Yes.
There are so many other issues. But clearly, Fubara, I just don't want to phrase it in terms of he's now decided to sort of behave himself. I didn't want to use that kind of language.
I wouldn't use the word behave. I would rather use the word wisdom. They say it's profitable to direct. So he's decided to be wiser and understand the game, the political chess game that he's playing. And so if it's any moves he makes now, it's like a checkmate. And then so you would not just rush to make the next move. You watch your move very well before you take the next step. Otherwise, you will be, digging your own political grave indirectly if he has not already done that. Because there are rumors that agreements were reached. I don't know how true, but I believe that certainly agreement will be reached. Remember, The first time that they went for a meeting with Mr. President, and then they said there were 6-point agreement reached. And some people, the moment he got back, people said, no, that's how can the president just dictate to you and then you just accept. It's an executive order. You're a governor of your own. Remember, Akuyori, I also told you on this program that this man is gradually digging his own grave because these people are the corridor of power. I'm not scared of people in power. I'm more scared of people at the corridor of power because people at the corridor of power, they are not friends. They are not friends. They are not your friends. They are friends to power. The moment you leave that office, they will become friends to the next person. So they will advise you. They will do anything to keep you there, even if it is the wrong advice. So as at that time, they were saying, no, you should not. And I asked, what power does this man have? If tomorrow a state of emergency is declared and he's muzzled out, what power does it have to retain that seat? Because considering the fact that once you are removed, if you now go to challenge the action, the first thing will be, what will be your locus? Are you challenging as a governor? You have been suspended because there's a precedent from the Supreme Court when the Attorney General of Plateau State challenged the state of emergency declaration. And the court said, look, you can't come here as an Attorney General. You have been suspended, surreptitiously agreeing that in the interim, an action had been taken, and so will not determine the legality or otherwise. So when that happened, and I said, look, this man should retrace his step and not listen to all of this advice. He should play the politics very well and then re-strategize, but outrightly say, no, you will not recognize an arrangement you went with your advisors and you signed and said, for the purpose of peace. Are we not back there now? Even worse.
Yes, yes.
Are we not in a worse situation?
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. And our other guest, Tony Dania, has also joined us. All of that as soon as we come back from break.
This week, Nigeria's political space is abuzz, from heated debates on the floor of the National Assembly to high-profile meetings behind closed doors and high-stakes decisions with unexpected twists that impact us all. It's been a week full of headlines and heated moments. Join us on Politics on Sunday, where we cut through the noise and dive deep into the issues that matter most, helping you make a sense of it all, from the corridors of power to the streets where it all plays out. We've got you covered because politics doesn't stop, and neither do we. Stay informed, stay engaged, and be part of the conversation. Politics on Sunday, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on TVC News.
Breaking news isn't just about speed, but more importantly, about fact and accuracy. It is responsible journalism, being ahead, unbiased, sensitive, in telling the stories that people would want to hear in a way that protects their sanity and for the public good. And it goes beyond breaking the news to actually following up, exploring all the angles, engaging newsmakers, tracking impact, all geared towards informing, educating, and setting agenda for the people. Breaking news is holistic, entire, complete. It's about you, me, and the world we live in. Breaking news is at the core of what we do at TVC News, and it's the honor of my life to serve you this news, fresh off the press.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Okay, welcome back. And second half of the program, our guest remains Liberus Oshoma. He's a lawyer and political affairs analyst. And we've since been joined by, even though I had announced him from the beginning of the program, we've been joined by Barrister Tony Dania, who is also a social commentator. Thank you very much, Barrister Dania, for coming on the program. Good news, things are okay again in River State. The governor is back. That's one way to put it. Do you think all is well that ends well, or is that, you know, looking at the whole thing a bit too simplistically?
Thank you. First, let me salute my brother Liberos that is there, and I've listened to his analysis. If you remember, Uncle Yeri, we've talked about this when the brouhaha was hot, when we stated that those who benefited from that crisis are the senior lawyers, and that is the truth. And we recommended strongly political solution. I want to say your topic is winners, losers. To me, it's a win-win for the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the federal government. It's also a win-win for the state government, Rivers State government, because the situation was seriously getting out of hand. The court's judgment were being taken with ridicule. Lawyers were trying to outdo themselves, negatively manipulating legal procedure to continue to escalate the crisis. And the president did the right thing. And that has brought sanity. You know, they were already bombing the pipelines. So that brought quick peace and sanity. And it was a good one. And then whatever political solution that was effected, it was a realistic one. Otherwise, parties will continue to play dirty to, impose their authority on that Rivers State government governance. So to me, it's a good one. And the governor should take his time to positively exploit the peaceful situation in Rivers State. A lot of logistics have been wasted, money channeled to other things that ought to have been used for development. Have a meeting with the legislature, look at the cooperation in Lagos State, work out something like that, and do things that will make Rivers State to remember you. I don't want to go into the political agreement you reached to enhance these truths that brought you back, Fubara, to the governor, to the executive, as the executive governor of Rivers State. But whatever it is, what you do now, before the end of your tenure, will go a long way to either demarket you politically or enhance your marketability. So I would suggest, look for projects. Whatever you say about Wike, I'm not his fan, you cannot rule it off that he brought developmental project to Rivers State. You can't rule that off. One of the best schools in Nigeria is in Rivers State. It was built by Rivers State government. Do things other states are going into. Look at what Abia State is doing. I commend that governor. Other states are going into self-generation of electricity, provided you get all the approvals in place. Do something that will make the river people to be happy. Nigerians are very good at forgiving. They quickly forget pains. Whenever there is a solution to issues, they quickly forget their pains. I can imagine what was happening that time in Rivers State. There was no peace, there was anxiety, there was fear, there was apprehension. Now you have peace. Now you have opportunity of working with the legislative arm of the state government. So go straight to governance. Don't waste time.
Okay.
Political jobbers will come back. And like Barrister Liberos rightly stated, and I've said it before, on this same station before you, Uncle Yeri, that those who are clamping for the governor, encouraging the governor, taking legal briefs on the governor, they will abandon him when he needed them most. That has played out within the past 6 months. The governor, I'm very sure, must have learned. So my advice is that Fubara should move on to deliver good governance. Learn to forgive those you felt offended you. Do your best. You will see that your political career, if you want to continue,
are you optimistic that he can hit the ground running? Because there's so much to do. What commissioners, all the officials that need to be appointed, because there wasn't very much of a government before the incident happened.
Yes, Uncle Yeri, I want to believe that when Fubara realized that he's likely to be reinstated, he didn't go to sleep. He ought to have been having meetings, making post-inauguration arrangements, is supposed to hit the ground running now. Because if you waste time, political jobbers and favor seekers will detract him. If he has not done that before, I want to say I'm disappointed. Because if I am Fubara, the moment I know that I'm coming back as the executive governor, I will reach out to everybody. I would have by now have meetings with the Speaker of the House, talk to him, look for likely persons that will be commissioners without offending other political gladiators, other political power holders, because you can't rule them out. You have to be realistic. You can't rule them out.
Okay.
Balance the situation. As you come in, if I were Fubara today, I'll start taking decision. Because I would have done all the arrangement needed to make me start running. If he has not done that, and he wants to start doing that now, he's going to have issues.
He very likely has been thinking about this all the time he was on a, I don't even, all the time he was away.
You see where the court needs to come in and set the record straight. Because now we are even looking for what to call the interregnum.
What happened during that interregnum?
Exactly.
Although Mr. President has said that he is absolutely perfectly convinced that it was a constitutional action.
He's convinced until the court says otherwise.
Well,
me, I'm not convinced. Some people are also not convinced.
Okay.
So until the court says otherwise, all of us will now be convinced. And so that's his conviction
to one
is
side.
not my conviction.
Oh, okay. But
but then
yes. This question about whether he will hit the ground, he's expected to hit the ground running.
You know, a man who has been running with the kind of speed that he was running, and then that speed is truncated. You must give it to him. There are so many things that will come to his mind. He would also retrospect and ask himself so many questions. Was all this battle necessary? Is it still necessary? You know? And then he's going to sit down and talk with a lot of people also. You know, some who would give it to him. The man is in a very hot seat now. It's enough. It's not enough to just say, yes, you can come back and occupy. And the speed with which the House of Assembly has sat down and said, bring commissioner nominees' names and all of that. It's also, you're asking this House of Assembly, the body language of the House of Assembly, does that look like a body language of people who are also remorseful, considering what happened? Or people who are beating their chests to say, yes, we have achieved it, we have caged him in, we have reined him in, so now he will do everything we say. So all of this would be put in perspective. And I also would advise the House of Assembly members not to be seen to be too arrogant, because if you look at the supporters, the people should be the determinant here. If you look at the people, not everybody is happy with what had happened. So this is a time for reconciliation. It is not a time for, to know who is stronger. It's a time for reconciliation. I think all of these resolution, bring commissioner nominee, the first thing should have been, after the meeting with the president, the reconciliation meeting, there also need to be an in-house, cleansing between parties. And then, because this list of commissioner nominee can always be discussed even before now, and then it will just come naturally. If you understand what I mean, all of this had been discussed. So it will now come naturally, not as if, it shouldn't be seen as if there is still quarrel. You are throwing darts. You are giving resolution.
No, yes.
And then the governor is silent. The governor had not even resumed. You already sat, you have issued a resolution, you should submit, So if it does not submit today, what happens if it doesn't submit? So let's see, reconciliatory move. Let's see, there be, the tension should be doused. Let parties be sane. After all, they were all in the same camp. Before the fight. So let us see that handshake across board. And then the people will naturally be happy. And then, those people behind both supporters can now say, yes, our people have reconciled truly. So there's really no need for war, and for the purpose of, for the benefit of the states, so that when there's peace, when there's calm, then all of us can work together and we all benefit. But I don't, this is my personal opinion though, but I don't like that. I don't think I am comfortable with that posture of, resolution. I bring the nominee and certainly the commissioner's nominee will come. you know. So let us see a robust interaction between both parties. But of course, I believe Fubara would resume. The man needs to take his time also. I believe he will resume, and then he's the leader, and he should be allowed to be the leader. Wike also should talk less in as far as Rivers is concerned. He's not the governor. He's in his time. Nobody dictates to him. Even traditional rulers, he talks to them anyhow. So if he's the governor, he would not want somebody to be breathing down his neck. So he should be seen and should be seen and not heard that much. He should face Abuja. Any project to commission in Abuja, he should do that without bringing Rivers into the politics.
He has already said, okay, I hear you. Let me even ask Chief Daniel this. Continuing right up onto where Liberals left off just now, I wonder what you think about that whole aspect of it, because look, he said it. We have to form a government in that place. Yes, we have to do that, but it's still all the arrangements are in the realm of conjecture. We don't know for sure what the agreements were that all worked up towards, Governor Fubara coming back, and how important is that? You saw the local council elections. APC won 20 of those seats. PDP, it is said that it used to be their state, just 3. You see, you don't know what has been arranged. We don't know. We're hearing rumors that perhaps you shall not apply for a second term. We don't know how the kind of lie of the ground. What do you think, Chief Daniel?
Thank you, Uncle Yari. Excuse me. You see, in the state, the governor is the #1 citizen. The state is like a country of its own.
Yes. Ordinarily, yes.
Is the chief security officer of the state. If anything goes wrong in the state, it takes the first blame.
Mm-hmm.
If you stay in a house that stinks, then because there are other tenants, you say you don't want to clean it up, and you are a well-known person, it is you that will take the first criticism. Governor Fubara should be realistic. He has to make the state work. If I am in the position of Governor Fubara, I will not mind, permit me to use the word, any tendency for somebody to show rascality. I will humble myself and go and meet those I'm supposed to meet if they don't come to me. I will not say I am proud, I'm egoistic, I'm the governor, you must come to me. No. Go and rule your state. If you allow any other crisis to come a second time, you'll be gone politically.
So he has to be pragmatic.
He has to be pragmatic, he has to be realistic, he has to be humble. He has to move. Don't wait and say, oh, Wike is shouting. If you want to go and see Wike, go see Wike privately. If you need to see the Speaker of the House, go and talk to him. Even if you are not happy with the way he has rushed solution at you, go to him. Oh, but why they do like this now? We just resume. Are we still fighting? There's nothing wrong with that. The state must work. The state must move. Development must come. Let's not encourage the rascalities we saw before, the impediments that were deliberately implanted in making progress. Let's not encourage it in any way. Enough is enough. You still have about 2 years to go. Make that 2 years impactful. The most important persons in Rivers State now are the people resident in Rivers State, made up majority of whom are the indigenes of the state. That is what you should be pursuing. Pursue security, pursue development, create make water available, enhance investment, promote intelligent student, gifted student, make education free and compulsory to some level of, to some extent. Then they subsidize the payment for higher institutions of, indigenes of the state attending higher institutions. Go to pursue technological development. All these are the things that should be in your mind. Now, if you feel some persons might take certain steps to impede your progress, go and meet those people.
Okay, I think Liberals wants to add to that.
Yeah, to add to what I'm basically saying, to add to what Tony Daniel is saying, my friend and brother, you saw when they see 2 years. And forget the fact that people are saying, oh, he has been asked not to come for a second term. 24 hours is a long time in politics. Remember Fashola in Lagos? It got so bad that people said, no, this man is not going to come back. But because of the good work of Fashola, there was even a movement, Fashola, anywhere you go, we go. The elders in Lagos, from what we gathered, look, I had to call the man, Oga at the top, you remember, to say, look, allow this boy so that we don't spoil what we have started. There's a way that Fubara can, still run undistracted. And at the end of the day, the Oga will say, you have done well. So we don't have a choice but to, follow the initial arrangement that we have. That way,
this is what Daniel was saying. That look,
he's the one who is the governor.
Yes,
it's his name.
But he has to stoop to conquer.
Exactly, that's the word. You stoop to conquer. You already know your boss. You know the nature. You know the man. There's nothing. I don't think I will know Wike more than him. And so you want to assess him. Assess him. The one you can take, you take. The one you can't take, manage it until you have the power to defeat him. If you cannot defeat him, then don't draw a battle.
Then just manage.
Just manage him. A man you cannot defeat, you manage him. It's like you are a landlord, you are a tenant in Lagos, and your landlord is overbearing. You begin to save money until the day you want to move. You can tell the man what you want to tell him and say, fool, I quit.
Yes.
Or your boss, you sack your boss. Not where you still want to retain the job and then you know the way politics is in Nigeria. And then you begin to throw arrows and throw stones. And so you manage it because it's your tenure. Certainly there'll be distractions.
So really, Barrister Daniel, all of this, because you talk about, pragmatism and all of that, all of this really depends on how the parties conduct themselves, especially, Governor Fubara, how he conducts himself, if he isn't belligerent, if he's, the guy just, he just has to become a different kind of a person. And because at the end of the day, again, referring to that expression, stooping to conquer, if he wants to make anything meaningful out of this, 2 years or so left, then I do see that he wants as little trouble as possible. And maybe there's an indication of that. Remember the crowd that gathered up to come and receive him? He didn't show. Maybe it was so as not to cause, any kind of misunderstood situation capable of being misunderstood.
Okay.
Because yes, please go ahead now.
Okay, thank you. Uncle Jerry, all depends on the government. If he surrounds himself with sycophants,
I know. You can't make that mistake again now.
Thank you. That's one. Then two, Jerry, government work with intelligence. The president might be planning to visit a place. Suddenly, it's not there. It is possible that, based on intelligence, he has been advised not to go there. So
okay.
Governor Fubara,
that's a possibility.
Such an August occasion, something that is supposed to make him very happy personally, he decided not to show up. There must be reason, and good reason too.
I agree with you.
So back to your question. Fubara should by now be implementing what we help the governors of this state by now. Let me go back memory lane. Most people, like I said, Nigerians are very good at forgetting pains. I am an expert on subsidy. The first day the president resumed, when he said subsidy is gone, I was among those who celebrated it. I prosecute subsidy fraud. I was prosecuting somebody that became senator that later died. So subsidy fraud is alive. You need to see what they were doing. The man has thought about it, has analyzed it, even when he was not president. So Fubara should have thought about so many things and say, immediately I come in, I will first of all do this to make the people happy. This Cross River State recently overruled this tout that go around collecting, I don't know what to call it, private taxes from low-income earner, traders on the street. The man stopped it. The people were happy. Do something that will make river people happy immediately. You cannot say you are bereft of ideas. No, I'm not in River State. I'm not a governor. I know things you can quickly do to make the people happy. Once you capture the people, you now go to those who are in governance with you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Tony Dania, social commentator, legal practitioner. We're going to have to leave it here. So I want to thank you very much for, making it onto our program so we could hear your commentary. And the same goes for Liberus Oshoma, another barrister and political affairs analyst. It's very good to hear these perspectives so it can help those at home who are trying to disentangle all the knotty issues. What exactly is going on? Thank you both, gentlemen. So that's our program today then. Do please join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.
Glovo, you've got the city at your fingertips. Hanging out with friends and craving fried chicken or smoky jollof with fried plantain? Order on Glovo and receive it in minutes. Running low on toiletries? Don't panic, Glovo's got you. Order on Glovo and receive it in minutes. Family time deserves quality food, so treat them to a sweet surprise. Yummy. Track the rider in real time as your order makes its way to you. Download Glovo, order anything you want and receive it in minutes.
Following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Are you ready for a clearance sale deal that will change your kitchen forever? Introducing the CookX 10-in-1 Air Fryer Oven, a powerful 12-liter oven that provides 75% more cooking space than traditional air fryers. Stay tuned to learn about the amazing free bonus items included with the CookX Air Fryer Oven. Say goodbye to greasy, unhealthy food and hello to nutritious, delicious meals. And here's the best part. This revolutionary kitchen appliance isn't just an air fryer. It's also an oven, dehydrator, toaster, pizza grill, and rotisserie, all in one. The CookX Air Fryer Oven is a 12-liter powerhouse that can fit a whole chicken and feed the entire family. Using hot air circulation, it cooks food to crispy perfection with up to 80% less fat than traditional fryers, requiring little to no oil. What's the secret? Fry food using superheated air, giving you that irresistible crispy texture without the excess fat and calories. It's a chef-quality, all-in-one kitchen machine. Air fry crispy yam, plantain, or akara in just 3 minutes with 80% less oil. Roast a full chicken or turkey perfectly in 15 minutes using the rotisserie mode. Make kilishi, dried fish, or fruit snacks with the dehydrator function. Bake meat pies in 10 minutes. Toast wings without smoke using the grill function. Just set it and walk away. Your delicious meal will be ready in minutes.
My husband is happy, and of course I have a happy home. From my grilling on check, to my frying on check, to my baking on check.
This CookX Air Fryer Oven is the bomb. It is super fast, small time, everything all set.
The CookX Air Fryer Oven is now available exclusively on ShopX TV. Take advantage of this amazing clearance sale price, the best deal you'll find anywhere. Buying multiple appliances could cost you well over 400,000 naira, but you can get the CookX Air Fryer Oven today for just 149,950 naira only. But wait, there's more. Order now and receive 3 free bonus items valued at 50,000 naira, absolutely free. Extra large rotating stainless mesh basket, stainless steel rotisserie fork, stainless steel food handle. That's 50,000 naira in